us this morning for our service of Multifaith Readings and Reflection. My name is Bavli, and I will be leading you today in our service. I am one of the spiritual care practitioners here at Mackenzie Health. For this service, you will see prayers and scriptures throughout, which represent some of our multi-faith community. I encourage everyone to participate in all aspects of the service and to enjoy and celebrate those aspects that you have found most helpful and supportive to you. We hope that everyone will learn something new today, and in that spirit, keep an open mind throughout. Today's theme is on hope. So we will begin with an opening reading, and this is a poem by Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. Our next reading comes to us from the Hindu tradition, and this is taken from the Vedas. Universal order and truth were born of blazing spiritual fire, and hence night was born, and hence the billowy ocean of space. And from the billowy ocean of space was born time, and the year ordaining days and nights, and the ruler of every moment. In the beginning, as before, the Creator made the sun, the moon, the heaven, and the earth, and the firmament, and the realm of light. Our next reading comes to us from the Jewish tradition, and this is taken from Proverbs chapter 8. The Lord created me at the beginning of his work, the first of his acts of old. Ages ago I was set up at the first, before the beginning of the earth. When there were no depths, I was brought forward. When there were no springs abounding with water. Before the mountains had been shaped, and before the hills, I was brought forward. Before he had made the earth with its fields, or the first of the dust of the world. When he established the heavens, I was there. And when he drew a circle on the face of the deep, and when he made firm the skies above, and when he established the fountains of the deep, when he assigned the sea its limit, so that the waters might not transgress his command, and when he marked out the foundations of the earth. Then I was beside him like a master workman. I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always, and rejoicing in his inhabited world, and delighting in the sons of humanity. Our next reading comes to us from the Muslim tradition, and this is taken from the Quran, from Surah 27. Praise be to Allah, who has created the heavens and the earth, and who sends you down rain from the sky, who has made the earth firm to live in, made rivers in its midst, and who listens to the distressed when he calls on him, who relieves its suffering, and who guides you through the depths of darkness. Our next reading comes to us from the Christian tradition, and this is taken from 1 Corinthians chapter 15. When the perishable have been clothed with the imperishable, and the mortal with immortality, then the saying that is written will come true. Death has been swallowed up in victory. Where, O death, is your victory, and where, O death, is your sting? The sting of death is sin, and the power of sin is the law. But thanks be to God. He gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. Our next reading comes to us from the Buddhist tradition, and this comes from The Perfection of Wisdom in 8,000 lines. I pay homage to the perfection of wisdom. She is worthy of homage. She is unstained, and the entire world cannot stain her. She is a source of light, and from everyone in the triple world she removes darkness, and she leads away from the blinding darkness caused by the defilements, by wrong views. In her we can find shelter. Most excellent are her works. She makes us seek the safety of the wings of enlightenment. She brings light to the blind, and she brings light so that all fear and distress may be forsaken. As the donor of the jewel of the Buddha Dharmas, she brings about the 10 powers of the Buddha. She cannot be crushed. She protects the unprotected. With the help of the foregrounds of self-confidence. She is the antidote to birth and death. She has a clear knowledge of the own being of all the dharmas, for she does not stray away from it. The perfection of wisdom of the Buddhas, the Lords, sets in motion the wheel of the law. Good morning again, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's service of Multifaith Readings and Reflection. As I mentioned earlier, the theme for today is on hope, so I'd like to share a few words with you on this theme. I'm sure that we all have hopes, and it takes on many different forms. I am hopeful that one day the Leafs will win a championship. I used to have hope that the Raptors would win a championship, and they recently won one, so that's checked off my list. And believe me, this hope that I have for the Leafs will never die. I like to joke with people and say my father was 6 years old since the last time they won the Stanley Cup, and I'm sure many of you are laughing at that fact. It's a good time to always be a sports fan, especially in a city like Toronto, with the Leafs and the Raptors season starting up and the Jays season wrapping up. There's always a lot of fun and excitement in the city when it comes to sports, so what can go wrong? Sometimes people tell me, well, they never perform well in the playoffs. They have a good regular season but can't perform in the playoffs. But that's the past. Let's see what happens today. As you can tell, I love sports, and more specifically, I'm a big Raptors fan, and I love my basketball. So I am hopeful that the Raptors will win another championship, and I'm also hopeful that the Leafs will also win a championship. Every day, we use that small magical word, hope. It's tough to live or even make it through one day without hope. What is hope? And based on all the examples I just gave you, and the readings we've heard so far, maybe we can define hope like this. Hope is a vision for better days that changes us in the present. Hope is a vision for better days. There's something up ahead, around the corner, in sight, and it's good. But that good future isn't just abstract, because it reaches in and transforms us in the present. So for example, I'm hoping to get an A in one of my classes. That hope will at least, and should, motivate me to study right now. If, for example, I'm hoping for a raise at work, maybe I will work harder. If I want, say, world peace, I can stop shouting at my own children. As a child, I knew well the power of hope around this time of the year, because I knew my parents would maybe buy me something for Christmas. I had a vision for better days with maybe better presents. But that also changed my attitude and actions at the time. That vision for the future drove me to search maybe catalogs or magazines or sales to make a careful list of the presents that I wanted. And it would even drive me to hunt under my parents' bed in order to sneak a peek at the better days coming upon me. Hope is a vision for better days that changes us in the present. Hope sometimes can look very different from what I described as a child and as a sports fan. I'm talking to some of you who might have maybe stage 4 terminal cancer, people who've had maybe heart attacks, and people who seem to be coming near the end of their lives. Not only do I ask you, but challenge you to reflect on these people as you contemplate in your mind about how you will walk with them on their journey of hope. How does hope look like for you? Is there hope at all? I'm not sure if there's an answer, but I believe we can at least control our actions in the here and now. Is there hope at all? One way to unpack this hope is to see that we are one big interconnected community. One of the marvelous things about community is that it enables us to welcome and help people in a way we couldn't do it as separate individuals. When we pool our strength and share the work and the responsibility, we can welcome many people, even those in deep distress, and perhaps help them find self-confidence and inner healing. Sadly, we're losing something about community and about accepting people who are different today. If we have a culture of winning, a culture of success, a culture of knowledge, those who have less knowledge are not winning. So, we're in a culture of huge divisions. We need to teach each other how we can lose, because the more we come close to losing, the more we begin to see the reality of what it means to be human, which is to accept our weakness, to discover that all humans are beautiful. So many people are running around doing lots of things, but those people are controlled by anguish. Hope is the light at the end of the tunnel when we hold each other's hands and sit in silence with each other. It's not an easy task, and today's readings paint an image of how we can continue to hope with each other as a community. Our opening reading tells us that hope perches the soul and has the ability to guide us as we seek to soar high in the air. The Hindu reading says that if we allow hope to penetrate us, then our space will open up as wide as the space of the ocean. The reading from the Jewish tradition tells us that God is constantly constructing us in his image and likeness, which is transcended in the good and the beautiful creation that he has made collectively. The Muslim reading tells us that if we learn to trust each other, that our hope will allow us the space to overcome our suffering and darkness. The Buddhist reading tells us that if we constantly seek the light, we will find shelter in the hope that is manifested from that very same light. And finally, the Christian reading tells us that if we overcome death, it is because we have hope in each other in the actions that allow us to serve each other. So, will I continue to hope for the Leafs? I will. And I will continue to learn from all their losses, because it's in their losses that victory will come. As long as I can continue to hope, I will believe. But something that I have noticed is that a community is only being created when its members accept that they are not going to achieve great things, that they are not going to be heroes, but simply live each day with new hope, like children, and like that child that I described a month before Christmas, in wonderment as the sun rises and in thanksgiving as it sets. Community is only being created when we have recognized that the greatness of humanity is to accept our insignificance, our human condition, and to thank God for having put in a finite body the seeds of eternity, which are visible in small and daily gestures of love and forgiveness. The beauty of humanity and the hope we live in is in this devotion to the wonder of each day. So, I will conclude by saying that I'll continue to hope for the Leafs and the Raptors, that one day they will win a championship, as long as you continue to hope for each other and for this world. Thank you. Now we will have a concluding reading for today's service. May all beings be happy and free. May you recognize the power and beauty within you and within all. May you nurture the seeds of your becoming. May music be like a prayer and your feet a drum to the beat of your heart. May your ministry be rooted in the power of Mother Earth. May your light shine and sparkle. May your heart grow green and healthy and whole. May generosity of spirit flow you like a river, and may your dreams of freedom be fulfilled. Thank you everyone for joining us for today's service of Multifaith Readings and Reflection. I hope you enjoyed that. If you'd like to connect with Spiritual Care, our contact information is located on your iPad in our Spiritual Care icon. You can also talk to your nurse, and they know how to contact us as well too. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you next week, Tuesday at 11 o'clock. Thank you, everyone.